Okay, now you're looking at your hand and this A-OK sign, and you're thinking about the freezer, you're making this butthole.
Today, these two contestants compete for no prize and no money.
I'm your host, Ben, on this episode of SLIDED.
Now, let's meet your judges. Beauty guru for dogs, but not cats, never cats. It's Madalyn St. John, sole survivor of that hostage situation at Five Guys. It's Jose Quintana, owner of all the Chuck E. Cheeses in the tri-state area. It's Matt Kiem. Some housekeeping before we start. Each contestant must present a slideshow they've never seen before. The contestants will be judged on comedy, character, and content. And did we mention they must complete their presentation in under 5 minutes? Let's meet our contestants before they're slided. Contestant number 1.
Hi, I'm Abraham. The weather outside is 70 degrees. Oh, no.
That's stellar. Contestant number 2.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Contestant number 1. Close your eyes. Are you ready?
Man, this game show is state of the art. Yes, I am ready.
Okay, your presentation starts now.
Om, everybody say it with me now. Om. Om, I need everybody to say it with me now. Om. There we go. Hello, my name is Abraham, and I'm going to teach you how to meditate. Om. All right, next slide, please. That's a D. Natural for anybody out there, musically inclined. Okay, so first things first, in order to meditate, you need to make the A-OK sign in your hands for 30 minutes. You don't need to place it by your knee. You just need to make the sign. Stare at it intently and make sure that it's there, okay? You got that? 30 minutes on the dot. Count every second. Next slide, please. Now, while you're looking at that, you need to make sure, okay, wait a minute. The body parts of my freezer, are they okay? Are they still freezing? Are they going to be frozen? Have they gotten that weird black, like when you put a steak in a freezer and it just gets freezer burn? Imagine that, but just for your body parts. Have they actually settled? If so, ask another follow-up question. Do these bring you joy? If yes, think about that joy and how much joy it brings you while looking at this A-OK sign. Next slide, please. Okay, now, the word Om, now the first letter of the word Om actually has the word O. Now I need you to make that O with your mouth, like this. But you don't want it to be loose. You want it to be taut, like a butthole. So just tiny mouth. If you want to see just exactly how it is. Ooh. As tiny as you can. Om, Om, Om. Basically the O and the M kind of merge together when you do that. Next slide, please. Okay, now you're looking at your hand and this A-OK sign, and you're thinking about the freezer, you're making this butthole. Okay, that's screaming. Sorry, it just always comes up. The screaming sensation, the voices, the demons, you didn't put them in the freezer. They're still alive. It's fine. Everything is A-OK. Just think about the hand sign. Think about the freezer burn. Think about your butthole mouth. And resist the urge to scream. And begin to contact with other planes of existence. Next slide. Speaking of enclosed body parts and limbs, let's talk about taxidermy. I actually have my own taxidermy business. I don't know if you know this. That it's a side business, but I also think that the petting and stroking of cat fur really does help to smooth and to really calm you down. Though petting them too aggressively does tend to make them so just gotta kill them, stuff them with fur. There you go. Get that nice peaceful cat fur. Om, Om, A-OK, butthole, mouth, freezer parts are doing okay. Om. Next slide, please. this is more of a this is a soft spot for me. Taco Bell, please sponsor me. Taco Bell, the heartburn is very aggressive. It is. There's no doubt about it. But, instead of not eating Taco Bell, what you need to do is ignore the pain. Let it wash over you. And let it really take you to a higher plane of understanding that you shouldn't deny the heartburn of Taco Bell. You should accept it. Accept the Taco Bell in your heart burn. Next slide, please. Okay. Yeah, they did that. Samantha, Tabitha, Gretchen, we know who you are. Okay, there's no use denying it. I know you're watching this right now. I know you trapped me in a cloud, and that was a very, very intense experience, but it has brought me to a higher plane of understanding because clouds are high up in the sky. Next slide, please. Oh, geez. Sometimes Quentin Tarantino has a great style. Quick zooms, a lot of over-aggressive uses of the N-word, feet shots, and Samuel L. Jackson. And those four things really are the four bedrocks, stepping stones of peace. If we were to all just remember the four building blocks of society. Quick zooms, blatant use of the N-word, feet shots, and Samuel L. Jackson, then really we would all get to a better place. Next slide, please. Also, breathing is important too. No, I don't think you understand.
5 minutes.
No,
I'm sorry.
I don't think you understand. My time is not up. I do not yield my time.
You do.
No, I don't. No, shut up. You're not the boss of me.
First, he tried his best. Let's give him a round of applause.
I don't need your pity, okay? I need you to buy my taxidermy animals.
Hey, bro, I will buy your taxidermy animals.
Thank
it's
you.
All right.
Thank
all right,
you.
man.
Judges. Madalyn, would you like to start for us?
Certainly. First of all, I think the animal rights community is going to be rather upset about this whole thing, but that's neither here nor there. The comedy was a little far-reaching, if I'm being totally honest. Am I ranking this out of 10 or gold stars or?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, great. I'll give it a 5. Character, didn't really like what he was doing there. It was a kind of dopey guy that didn't really know what he was talking about, but he really committed to it. I believed him in that. So I'm going to give the character 2 gold stars. And content, well, I may not feel like I learned how to meditate, but I certainly feel better about my life and my situation after watching that. So I'm gonna give content a thumbs up.
All right.
For the record, I do not need your approval. Just saying that right now.
And he cuts the host off. Matt, how do you feel? I'm going to mark down my own negative points for Abraham.
Well, first and foremost, you've clearly never heard of formaldehyde, so I'm going to deduct points for that.
Formaldehyde.
You really sold it with accepting the heartburn, though. Because heartburn is something that affects millions of us every day, especially from something that we love as much as Taco Bell. And I really felt the passion in what you were saying. But you did cut the host off.
That's
Next.
neither. Damn it! Ah!
Well, as a mental health enthusiast, I could say that you reached a bar that many other people with less experience have probably passed. But with the subject of a cat that every cliche villain uses to help themselves meditate, it's probably a one redeeming quality that I found from you. And I think everything else was a red flag.
All right. And there you have it from our judges. Really brutal first round for Abraham. Now,
Contestant number 2, are you ready?
Yes.
You motherfucker.
Oh, motherfucker.
Close your eyes. Your presentation starts now.
Welcome to my TED Talk, everybody. So, if you guys didn't know, birds aren't real. It's all a lie. Next slide, please. I'm going to move that so I can see. Well, from 1948 to 1986, the CIA they created prototypes. So, robot birds. It's basically Birdemic. You know, that movie is maybe ridiculous, but I think that the creators really on to something. Trust me, I'm Vietnamese. We operate on the same plane. Next slide. So, Reagan killed all the birds in 1986. I forget if he was involved in the war on drugs. Maybe that was Nixon. I forget, but he also started a war on birds too. Go birds, more like no birds. Am I right? Next slide. The Challenger disaster was a terrorist attack from the last remaining birds. What more can I say about that? Next slide. So the bird blueprints, if you haven't, these bird blueprints are from Apple. Steve Jobs was working on this blueprints before he tragically passed away. So with the creation of the iPhone, this was also part of his plans. He did not see it to its fruition before he passed away, but his work carried through. Next slide, please. Da Vinci's bird prototype influenced the CIA. Yes. And also the Wright brothers, their model of the plane was also a prototype for the mechanical bird for today. Next slide, please. Birds use power lines to transfer surveillance footage. Yes. The birds are always watching us. And this is how they charge. This is, if you're wondering if these are mechanical birds, where do they get their power? This is how they recharge. This is how they rejuvenate. This is how they feed. They feed off of our electricity. That's why Pico is charging us so much, and that's why they're always coming to our doors and going, hey, have you been charged too much for your electric bill? They are right. It's because of these motherfuckers. Next slide. A compromised unit. Ducks are also compromised as well. Do not trust any winged creature at all. That's why I love roasted duck. Next slide. Haven't seen a single bird since the government shut down. Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. Next slide. Next slide, please. Birds are your friends and harmless. There's no need to be alarmed or to watch your words when a bird of a cute, nice, fluffy bird. Oh, God. This is just... Birdemic. Everybody says Birdemic is insane, but Birdemic was on the money. Any movie, any poster that says birds are your friends, they're incorrect. Birds, one day, Birdemic will be real, and we'll all regret that we've made fun of that director, Mr. Wen. I'm with you. Next slide. In conclusion, birds are not real. The Eagles, our football team, they are not real. Winged creatures, nah. That's the end of my TED Talk, and please eat roasted duck.
Everyone, let's give a round of applause for Kenny. Well done, sir. Well done. You made it in time.
Thank you.
Spot on. Spot on. My judges, Madalyn, how are you feeling?
Well, I will say that he's good at reading. Definitely knows how to do that.
Thank you. I worked really hard.
It shows. It shows. It was informative, and yet I would say raised as many questions as it answered.
Yeah, that's the idea, you know?
Is he supposed to keep just jumping in whenever he wants? Is that part of it?
He's allowed exactly 20 words to talk back before I have to deal with him.
That's fine then.
You're on 17.
Well, I don't want to give him a chance for 3 more words, so I don't know, C-.
I see. Brutal, scathing reviews from Madalyn today. Jose.
Well, as you can see, I wear glasses, so it's helpful for me to see what's really happening in front of me. So with this whole presentation, I felt like it was definitely an eye-opener and a glasses cleaner, or shiner, however you want to word it. And I feel that, kind of like what was touched, you read pretty good, and you were able to cover the subject to a moderately pleasing level. So if I had to give this a grade, I would give it a B.
My bird eye is open. I knew James Audubon was trying to warn us all those years ago. I do have one question. Why do you eat mechanical roasted duck?
Well, they have electrolytes. They're good for you.
I never thought of it that way.
And with that, my judges, let's get our final report.
Well, this was a really tough call. I would say these competitors were very evenly matched. But I think I'm going to have to go with contestant number 1.
Well, from all my experiences of judging the show for the past 10 minutes, I would say that contestant number 2 made a strong impression on me rather than contestant number 1.
I am going to go with contestant number 1 because I'm afraid the government's going to come after me if I spread the truth about the birds.
Oh boy! Yes!
We have to spread the word.
That's okay. To be fair, everyone knows that birds aren't real. We already know that. That's not new information, buddy. But I will say this is great for me because my taxidermy business is saved. Yes.
That closes out our show for today. All right, I will see the rest of you all on the next episode of SLIDED. Oh, hi. I can see you there. Did you like the show? If so, why not give us a little like and subscribe? Ring that bell if you want a little more. Now, if you have a specific slide you'd like to see someone present, leave a comment. You may consider it. All right, bye-bye now.